properly as planned. Is it working? No. Why? Because apparently you need to hit the switch again. Let's see if it worked. Why would it work? It would be too easy if it works. Is it working? It's working. Closing the door. Cool. We are officially on all platforms right now. I say all platforms, all the platforms that we actually stream to. Oh, my back hurts. I twisted something. I heard something. I don't feel good. Yes, it is true. My back is not that of what it was when I was younger. Daryl, good morning. Hardeep, good morning. We've got people popping in. We got croissants in the house. What's going on? Neha, good morning. Hardeep, we said hello, but hello again. Canadian guy. Yeah, awesome. Paul Dogs too. Lots of love coming in the room. We are live everywhere, so let's get this show on the road, shall we? My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service here in Ontario, Canada. I go live Monday to Friday, except yesterday, because I was not here yesterday. But I go live Monday to Friday to answer your traffic and police questions on this magical show called Ask a Traffic Cop. I'm a traffic cop. I answer your questions. It's an amazing thing. And today we have some exciting news. Well, actually, it's not news. It's not that exciting. But we do have stuff to talk about in that we have two cameras. So when Sergeant Campbell joins us for a few minutes, you'll be able to see his face and not just hear him. Brooke, good morning, Miss Ottawa. How you doing? Morning from Robin. Good morning from user 817. We got good morning from Newfoundland. Hey, how is the Rock today? I've yet to come visit, but I have many friends who are from the Rock, and I've had many invites that suggest I should come down and get screeched in. For anyone who has no idea what I'm talking about, go find someone who is from the Rock and ask them about being screeched in. We are currently broadcasting on YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Facebook. We are even on Instagram. As I look at the Instagram camera, we do have a stream that's going out onto Twitter. If you're watching on that stream, I apologize in advance. You can't ask us questions, but you can visit trafficcop.ca, and that will give you links to our other platforms. We're recruiting you for TikTok and Instagram and all the other places. So let's talk about this. Let me get rid of this overlay. We won't need that anymore. Oh, you can see the top of this iPhone. Do we drop that? We'll leave it there. You can just have that little look at the iPhone, and guess what symbols are on that iPhone? This is an iPhone 6 Plus that my kid was using, and I got them a new phone, so I took the old phone, and that's what our Instagram channel plays on. It's very high tech here. We have, let's see here, Leo wife. Good morning. That's my wife. She's watching, and she's very supportive. She's magical. She's watching, and oh yeah, and yes, my back hurts. I might come home early. We'll see. I don't feel good. Angela Topping. Good morning. Ryan Pinn. Good morning. How's it going? It is a super cold one today. Yuck. It's gonna get colder tomorrow, so yuck. Jacob has the day off. Very nice. And yay, Sergeant Campbell's coming. Yes, we have good votes of woohoo amazingness. Okay, Chase says, welcome back. Thank you very much. It is good to be back. You know, it's always tough to be out of the studio and not being able to share the love online. We've got lots of people asking for you, Sarge. You're Mr. Popular. He's walking the other way. Kayla Draconis with greetings and salutations as per usual. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, let me scroll back here because a bunch of messages came through. Got lots of places to look. I've got the integrated channels, which include everything but TikTok. TikTok comes up on this window. Let's see what's going on here. And Brooke says, good morning from Ottawa. Did we cover that already? I think we did cover that already. But Brooke, you get like 2 shout-outs. Papa Trucker says Highway 17 is closed west of Sioux to Wawa due to weather. Well, thank you very much for sharing that. Anyone who's in the, I'm assuming, Sault Ste. Marie and Petawawa area, Highway 17 is closed. Good to know. This is not an area I'm familiar with other than the words used to describe it, being their names, because that I've heard of. Let's see what's going on here. We got a question from Nadeem, and we will talk about their question in just a moment. I love my tea. It's actually just less than blister-causing heat. I like it when it's like that. Joel says, police. Yes, we are the police. What are the road conditions out there right now? Very good question, Brooke. It was nice this morning, cold, but nice on my drive in at 5 in the morning. But I have not looked outside recently, so I don't know. Anybody who's out in Toronto right now and knows what the weather's like, shout out in the comments so we can share with everybody else who's in the stream. In a moment, I'm going to tell you where the Vision Zero enforcement team is because that's part of what we do. But know that if you've got questions, we've got answers. That's what we talk about here, traffic and police stuff and things. I'm going to quickly go through and see here. Patricia says, good morning. Love and what is the confidence says cold and haha, yes, you do. Safety now to mind you. Yes, I'm reading that again. I have to understand. Okay, hello from the GTA. Good morning from Vehicle Valley. And Jesse says, good morning. Matt says, I gave him a ticket once in Toronto. That's very possible. I used to give a lot of people a lot of tickets because they broke rules. What did I give you a ticket for? Owen says, good morning, Sean. Let's see here. Going through. Oh, Brooke wants us to come up with merch. What an idea. That's something we talked about. I have a mug here that was made by my wife. It says, stuff and things. We have, your microphone is hot, and guess what? I can do this. Hello there.
Good morning.
You can't see yourself, but I can. I can make it so you can see yourself. Hang on a second. There we go.
Oh,
you can only see yourself, but you can. Yes, you and I both have that reflective ability. We are safer when we cross the street at night because I got to move over more, or I got to move my. Hold on, this is easier to do this. Hang on. Oh, there we go. A little bit more. There we go. Different angles for different things.
Yeah, trying different things. See if we can make it better.
Yeah. Nadeem wants to know, he says, can CP Rail Police enforce HTA on public highways? It's an interesting question. In relation to their property, they can.
Yes, absolutely.
And I believe it's within 500 meters.
I don't know. They get their authority under the Railways Act, and it's a federal act across the country. So they have to have special permission to enforce provincial laws, unless it's in relation to their properties. And once again, their properties have their own traffic laws as well. So if you're actually on their property proper, they can lay charges under their act.
Their proper property. A couple of people weighed in on this. I am now displaying on TikTok the words used to describe it, and that is, or it's a single word, twins.
Well, I have heard that before.
Yeah, Jacob concurs. Let's see here. Oh, Chase brings up, and I always go to Chase because Chase comes up with some fantastic stuff and things to talk about.
Stuff and things?
Stuff and things. Someone had gone 121 past a speed camera on Avenue Road. The justice dismissed the charge in court because the cop who certified the ticket couldn't prove the camera was accurate that day. Interesting. We both looked at that article. It's an interesting article. I understand that it's less of a question, more of a statement. But we were talking about that very thing. It is interesting, and we'll see what happens as a result. But those tickets, they're accurate. Like being able to go in and be able to give a piece of information about whether or not the device, how accurate the device was, that's an incredible amount of speed over the limit.
Yeah. You know what, though? Each case is separate. You may be caught for doing something. The officer may take something to court and may not be able to articulate it or not have all the evidence required to sufficiently prove that charge. And that's why we have judges and justices to look at all that evidence and make a decision. Now, the decision could be called case law. Mm-hmm. So in a previous case, this decision was made because of this, and this. That can trickle down into other stuff as well. So we are not the ones to decide. We are the police officers. We're just here to enforce.
And we're not involved with that program. That's run by the City of Toronto. They have their own whole mechanism for going through that. We have nothing to do with them.
Although they supplement what we do out there every day.
They do assist us, and I think it's fantastic what they do. I love those cameras. Many people don't agree that they are a good thing, but I certainly do like them. Let's see here. Oh, and CJ's helping us up with some questions too. But let me go back into there was a couple stuff here. Brooke says, big fan energy. Love this live. I try and tune in all the time. Thanks very much, Brooke. Much appreciate the support. Matthew says, good morning. We said, Pixel says, good morning. What's the most obscure law that you've typically overlooked? I don't know. If it's obscure, I may not know that it exists, and thus I may not enforce it. Are there any laws that jump to mind, Sarge?
You know what? Everything every law that's out there, somebody has done it to be able to create that law. So for every obscure law that's out there, any weird law that I look at, I go, somebody at some point somewhere did that, and they had to. Which sometimes some of the laws I've seen are amazing. We have rules and laws pretty much for everything. We were talking earlier about the Railways Act, and enforceable on railways, the federal law. Provincial parks have their own law.
Laws for everything.
Our exhibition place, our C&E grounds, they have their own bylaw that regulates traffic flow around there because it's private property.
It's amazing. Yeah, people, there's a lot of misunderstanding about that. So yeah, and speed limits in that area are lower, and you charge under that particular act. So there's lots of stuff for us to know. But I can't think of anything that comes to mind. Are things that I avoid, like sleigh bells. I don't know anything about. You don't know anything about sleigh bells?
Well, I've heard sleigh bells might be against if you have a sleigh and there's not a bell on it. You have to have one maybe to operate it.
I'm going to start pulling over sleigh I find. Horse-drawn, of course.
Yes.
Let's see here. Someone was complaining about tax dollars, and guess what? Vehicle Valley was jumping to our defense, saying that we are educating the public with those tax dollars, and we are. This is an important service that we provide. We go live every day. Well, not every day, but almost every day. A lot of the days. Most of the days, many of the days. And we do that because we are providing access to police to answer your traffic and police questions. Whether you would walk into a police station to come ask these questions, phone us. We get to talk to thousands of people at a time, and it is awesome. By the way, if you're watching on TikTok and you're noticing that we're wide angle, we've got this new interface. We like it. We had some really positive stuff. We've had some people say they don't like it. Q&A doesn't work. We do have the benefit of having CJ, who is cutting and pasting things so we can put them on screen, like this question that we're about to put on screen. What is required to be trespassed from public property? We'll answer that in just a second. But I want to let you know there's a couple of features you may not be aware of. If you see a little box, almost like a backwards L, a box that's horizontal and a box that's vertical, you can actually hit that and make this a wide screen. It'll flip your phone, and you can actually watch it live stream, and you'll still see all the chat. It's really cool. Let's look at that question. What's required to be trespassed from public property? Trespass to property, it depends on what you're calling public property. Like a courthouse, is it public property? We can trespass you from it. Sarge, you want to take a stab at?
You know what? To be trespassed, it's to be non-invited onto that public property. If it is a controlled access, it could be a park because they're regulated. It could be other public property, provincial property, federal property. If you are engaged in activity that breaks the rules around that property, that you can be trespassed from it. And all you have to have is a notice. You have to be told, no, you cannot come in. Mm-hmm. Your entry is not permitted.
The beach. The beach is a great example.
Yep, absolutely.
There's signs posted about curfews. If you're breaking the curfew there, or the time where you're no longer permitted on the property, you can be asked to leave. If you're participating in behavior that's not acceptable, you can be told to stop that. If you refuse, you can be told to leave. And if you fail to do that, you can be arrested.
So in Ontario, the Trespass to Property Act is the law that allows people to do that. There are actually only 3 offenses under the Trespass to Property you can get a charge. One of them is to enter the premises when entry prohibited. You've been told not to come in, and you came in anyways. To engage in prohibited activity on premise, if there's a time frame, or if you're not allowed to play baseball there, and you do, then that's a prohibited activity. And then the last one is fail to leave premise when directed. So if somebody has the lawful authority to tell you to leave and you don't, then you can be charged for that as well. So
bingo bango. Hardeep's brother is a Peel police officer, so he's got lots of respect for police officers. Thanks very much, Hardeep. Big Mama, what is this? Big Mama Money Hustler says, are you home in your basement, or are you at the police station where you work? I am. Both of us. We're actually in the same place. We could high five over the cameras. But we are physically at the police station at 9 Hannah. That is traffic services. It's the place where things happen in the traffic world.
And you know what? Sometimes it feels like this is home for us.
True. And actually, I have streamed during the pandemic. I did stream from home on occasion. And if I'm sick, or if someone else is sick and I can't come to the office, I will stream because I want to make sure I'm accessible as much as possible. So sometimes you'll see a green screen or a wall of movie-ish stuff behind me, and that would be home. Okay. Okay, we talked about there's no Q&A button. Yes, because we're doing wide angle, there's no Q&A, but we do have CJ who's assisting us behind the scenes, taking questions, put them up on screen like this one, which is it legal to make a left at a red light when one way to one way? And actually, yes, as long as there's no sign prohibiting it, you are allowed to make a left turn on a red after coming to a complete stop and waiting until it's safe to make the turn, assuming there's no sign prohibiting it. But that's when both streets, the street you're on and the street you're turning onto, are both one way. I can't say that that's a common thing that I see all the time.
You know what, Sean? And there's one other additional part to that. It has to be from the left lane to the left lane.
Yes.
If you're in the right lane of say a 3-lane road, you can't make a left onto the street if you're crossing in front of other traffic that's stopped there, because they may also want to make the left onto that street. So,
yes, the appropriate lane for the appropriate business.
yep.
Michael had said on TikTok Check there was a question about a U-turn on a red, HTA 14418, proceed before green. Yeah, so basically the deal is I don't know where people think this is okay. You cannot go from a red light, proceed before it turns green, and turn left or make a U-turn. The only permission is to make that right turn after where it's legal, where it's safe and unsigned otherwise, and then after making a complete stop, and left turn from one way to one way. But in a street where you have a normal intersection, you cannot make a U-turn on a red. That's running the red if you don't stop, and it's proceed before green, as Michael stated in our volley group, if you do it without stopping.
And the intersection is what you're looking at, right? It's either the white line, which is before the lateral extensions of the sidewalk, or where there's no white line, it is a lateral extension of the sidewalk or the curb. And you cannot pass that line until you are allowed to.
Here's an interesting question. What happens if a police officer passes a stopped school bus without light active? And this is, it's very interesting because it is...
Without lights active?
Without light. Well, the
The
funny
school
thing
bus
is,
lights or the police car lights?
well, that's a good question. Let's talk about both of them. If a school bus's lights aren't active, you can pass it.
Right.
And that's any vehicle.
Yeah.
You have to use caution because I imagine those lights are about to be turned on. But Ontario is now a two-stage province, which means amber lights while the vehicle is moving, red lights when the vehicle stops, and then the stop bar comes out. As soon as those lights are active, nobody, police or otherwise, can stop it, can pass it.
Yeah, there's no exemption for us going through that.
So what happens if a police officer goes through a school bus with its lights active?
Well, that police officer could be charged. And coming out very soon, we're going to have photo penalties. So school buses are actually going to be equipped with photo, front and rear, and it'll take a picture of the vehicle that is actually passing the school bus when they're not allowed to.
Listen, it's the same as if we get caught going through a red light camera or a speed camera. If we are doing it, we have to articulate why and how, and we can be charged for it. And going through a red light camera would be a problem because we are obligated to come to a stop, even if our full lighting system and emergency equipment is active.
Yeah, we have to come to a complete stop before that white stop line, make sure the way is safe, it's safe to do so, and travel through with our siren and lights fully active.
I just read a comment from Robbie. It might be my new favorite comment. I know he means it as a dig, but he has made my day. Copaganda. This is not propaganda. This is copaganda. That's fantastic. No, this is called traffic safety education, but I do appreciate your attempt, Dig. I really am entertained by it. Sometimes our trolls make for the best content. Let's see what's going on. Oh my goodness, there's a whole bunch of stuff in the chat. Is this pre-recorded? No, Poshmint, this is not recorded. This is live. And I just said your name, so you know it's live. Okay. Are we allowed to have a light bar on our car in the city? I think it really depends on what kind of light bar we are talking about. A light bar like lights and sirens light bar, or a light bar like an off-road LED strip for illuminating the road. You can have it affixed if it's a light bar for off-road. You can't use it on the city. You have to be off-road.
You said exactly the perfect word, off-road.
It's an off-road.
Yep, none of them are legal. The LED light strips, light bars, lights, front, back facing, no. On the road, no, it's your headlights.
I see them all the time. I do
Headlights, driving lights, which also could be fog lights, with a maximum of 4 lit beams.
Yes, over 300 candela of power. The weird stuff that we remember.
Yeah.
What type of car is more likely to be pulled over, in your opinion? Window tint, ? See young driver, question mark. That's Jay Stone who wants to know the answer. I can answer that. The one that is breaking the rules.
Well, okay, that's perfect.
Because I can't tell who's driving the car at a distance, but I can tell if the car is doing something it's not supposed to. If it's got tinted windows, that's a very easy flag to say it's doing something wrong because I can identify that at a distance that it's against the law. But it's the one that's breaking the law, and the age of the driver isn't. If I saw a 10-year-old behind the wheel, if I was concerned that they were not a licensed driver, that's certainly a reason to pull them over. So it all depends. Depends. You know what I need here? I need a caption.
You do.
But I can.
Would you use it? Well, it depends.
Depends. Can I relocate the front license plate from the center to the right or left of the front bumper? Oh, that's actually a very interesting way of asking that question because it allows us to give you a very flowery response. You can't put it behind your windshield. But what do you think, Sarge? Left or right of the front bumper?
There's nothing stopping you from doing it as long as it's visible from the front of your vehicle, from either side as well.
Yes. And the back one must be, you can relocate it as long as it remains illuminated by white light only.
Yes. Showing my age, early 90s, Chevy Cavalier. I had one of those, license plate mounted from the factory on the right-hand side, but pointed forward.
But as a Cavalier, that was just the awesome thing to do.
That was.
Why he never invite anybody up on his live? Mr. Nice Guy wants to know. Do you mean like people watching on TikTok? Actually, I can't even do that right now. The way we're hosting it, you'd have to come in through a link, and it would be through our Restream platform, so we'd have to know you and invite you and vet you and all that jazz. But when we were on TikTok, we experimented with it like 2 years ago, and we decided that sometimes it's not a good thing. Sometimes you get people named Emma who are drinking Tim Hortons in her backyard having a smoke, and they say, hey, what's going on? And then they become moderators, and can't have that. But
I'm here live.
This is true. You are technically on camera number 2, so.
There you go.
What's this? We got a chat question that came in. Oh, Chase left a volley. I can't contain myself. What is a 2-part question? Okay, and is it going to be? Oh, it is. It's a voice one. Let's see what Chase has got to say.
A 2-part question. So, what is your advice for someone who comes from outside of Ontario and their license plate gets stolen here? What should they do? And the second part is, can you tow a vehicle that does not have license plates on it?
Wow, those are both good questions. And oddly enough, you've got the right person with me. Those answers to said questions. Sarge.
So theft of a license plate, I would be letting the local police department know that it was stolen. And I would be actually contacting the Ministry of Transport in the jurisdiction you came from to let them know. They may not get an automatic report. If an Ontario license plate is stolen, it goes on file. It goes on our CPIC system, which is our Canadian police information computer, but they may not get an automatic notification like the Ministry of Transport in Ontario would. Can we tow an unplated car? Actually, that's an offense in the city of Toronto to have an unplated car on the road. So absolutely, it would be towed. It would be tagged and towed specifically for it. Cars have to be identified. We can do that with a VIN number, though, and we can tow it.
It's amazing. There's always a way of dealing with things.
And you know what? If your VIN number is covered, because some people are suggesting to do that because of the rise on car thefts. To be able to tow it, we have to be able to identify it, which means we can open it and have a look.
And there's lots of places to put a VIN number.
Yeah, there are a couple places on your car where the VIN number is. The one on the windshield, visible from the outside, has to be there. Cannot be destroyed or removed. Even can't be removed.
We have a comment. You have a fan. Chase is officially a fan. He says, "You're so." Actually, he said Sergeant Campbell is so awesome.
Well, thank you.
He doesn't hear it. I put it on the screen because you don't hear that a lot. So,
no, I don't hear it.
Let's see here. Sorry. Okay. Why no Q&A? Corey Agnew wants to know, and the answer is because we're using a widescreen. We're using RTMP streaming through Restream, and as a result, we cannot actually use the Q&A functionality. But we think that using multi-camera and with the assistance of CJ in the behind the scenes, we think it actually works out really well. We're going to keep switching it up. If we have guests, we'll do multi-cam. We're going to pull people in from other locations. Also good things. We'll quickly catch up here. I know you've got to go soon, right?
Yeah. Big things coming up in the next week. One of our contracted pound providers is actually opening up a second pound specifically for vehicles that are towed from rush hour routes.
A rapid release, is that what we call it?
It's a rapid release pound, and the reason is it's most people who park in a rush hour route, morning and evening, they're not there for the long term. And when they come out and find their car gone because they've overstayed what they're allowed to do there, we've made a pound that's closer to the downtown core where most of the rush hour routes are. So you don't have to take a long distance bus, Uber, train, etc. to go pick up your car from the impound yard. We're going to have one that's closer to the downtown core so you can get to it easily and pick up your car and be on your way.
It works.
Well, it works, but it would work even better if you just look at the parking offenses and don't get towed.
Jason Crane, a sergeant, Sergeant Jason Crane, would like to know when he's going to get a time slot on the show. And I would say as soon as you show up, because Sergeant Campbell's got to go. You should come up right now. Are you home? Are you here? Are you at work? We can put you on the spot or in the spotlight. Absolutely. We have here Gangsta Singh says, "Hey, officer, could we use on our flight?" We talked about that earlier. It may have been you were answering. And somebody else said, "How do we ask a question?" Well, here's the deal. You can ask by messaging in the comments, and CJ is going through the comments, pulling questions and putting them up on wonderful little captions. So here is an example of that from the TikTok universe. It was a question asked by somebody whom I do not know the name of, and it wants to know rules around intersection and stopping when crossing guard is present. So here's the thing. An intersection, at a regular intersection with lights and crosswalks and all that jazz, you must stop. And what am I trying to say here? When a pedestrian is legally crossing, vehicles that are turning have to wait until that pedestrian is out of their path. You have to yield to the pedestrian. And in a situation where there is a crossing guard present, you have to wait until they completely cross the road. They cannot be on the road at all if there's a crossing guard present. So let me backtrack because I fumbled it around a bit. If there's no crossing guard present and you are approaching a crosswalk at a signalized intersection or otherwise where a pedestrian is lawfully on the road or about to step off onto the road, you must yield to them. You cannot cross. Once they've crossed your half of the road, you can proceed when safe to do so. That being said, if a crossing guard is present, you cannot cross until the pedestrians have completely left the roadway. Now, we have something called a pedestrian crossover, something a little different. And if that particular crossover, that's not in relation to a intersection, but you'll see ped crossing, or you'll see the X sign and lights and flashing signs in some jurisdictions. Regardless of a crossing guard being there or not, you cannot cross until all pedestrians have left the roadway. Did I get that? That was a lot of
I was just about to jump in because of that last one there is the pedestrian crossover one with the flashing amber lights. Once, like you said, you have to wait till they've completely cleared the roadway. Like, not even just way far away, they're completely off the roadway before you proceed.
Footsies on the sidewalk, yes.
Yes.
What is this? I see here yellow traffic signal. There's a weird. Anyway, I don't know what to do with that R. It's dangling. You are in intersection to take left turn. Opposite car speeds up. Whose fault? Okay, so you're charged. You're in the intersection, waiting to make your left, and somebody runs the yellow. Well, whose fault is that? I wonder. You're turning. You have to make sure that you can do it safely. They're supposed to stop. I imagine we charge both drivers.
Absolutely. So anybody making a left turn, crossing a travel lane of traffic can only do so when it is safe. And that includes within the intersection as well. Now, if you have a amber light or a red light, you are supposed to stop before you're entering the intersection. I'm assuming you have legally entered the intersection on the green and you are waiting to make your left turn. So you have to wait until it is safe to do so.
And truly, you're not in a rush because you're obligated to clear. And if you see that car coming and you're unclear as to what their intention is, waiting is a very good option to prevent that collision. So, in the event of that collision occurring, you ultimately took a very large step in not waiting.
A suggestion, too, is if you find yourself in situations like that, make sure you have a dash cam. You could have evidence that you show to a police officer to say, no, I was legally in the intersection. I was doing my due diligence to wait. It was red for an awful long time. The car was supposed to have stopped. It was green for the opposite direction, and I'm obligated to clear the intersection. This car came barreling right through.
Yeah.
That would be, that in a case like that, because, it depends. In a case like that, yes, the evidence would prove that the other person would be at fault.
And a big thing is that this people are concerned. They get anxiety over this fail to clear intersection. Yeah, you're supposed to not enter it unless you have somewhere to go, but it was reasonable when you entered it that it has somewhere to go, and you got stuck because of the actions of another driver. But this is where dash cameras are gold. Some people say, well, dash cameras could catch you doing the wrong thing. Not if you're not doing the wrong thing. If you're doing the right thing, you're going to be protected. Those who do the right thing do not fear cameras. You got to go.
That's it for me.
All right, I will turn off the camera and bid you adieu.
All right. Take care, everyone.
See you, and you're not back tomorrow, so we will see you when we see you.
Yeah, I'm going to go find some very, very cold snow tomorrow. And
The warm snow is less good, I guess.
yes, it is. Well, unless it's summertime. And then warm snow is really good.
Right.
All right.
Okay, have a good one. We'll shut his mic down, we'll turn his camera off, and then we'll readjust so you don't see the storage corner of that camera. Okay, we're back to normal. As normal as it can be. Okay, here we go. If you hit and run in a parking lot, where do the police come? Well, you call the police from that parking lot. And if we have enough information, which we would normally do, the fail to remain side of things is stuff we investigate. So, I expect they'd go to the registered owner's house and deal with them there. But a number of things happen. One of those is contacting the registered owner of that vehicle that ran. Okay. We have a lot of people want to know about law and U-turns. Let's talk about U-turns. Do we talk about U-turns? Maybe that's somewhere down here. Hang on a second. I'm checking. I got multiple places to look. What is with the new? What is the 12, sir? What is new with G driving test, please? I don't know. There was basically a shortened driving test. I don't know what that looks like anymore. It was a temporary thing that has been, I think, still on the books. So you need to talk to drivetest.ca. Unfortunately, that's not something that we're involved in. But when you find out, let us know, because I'm always interested in learning new stuff and things. Has my department ever pulled over a driverless car with nobody in it? What would you do? I can't speculate what I would do, because right now there's only one driverless car in Ontario, literally one, that is run by GATIC, and it's on a closed course, and it's not in our jurisdiction. So I've never pulled over a driverless car. Have we pulled over autonomous or semi-autonomous things that are like autopilot and Teslas? All the time. Why? Because their drivers seem to think that they don't have to pay attention and that they don't have to hold the wheel, or that they can use their phones. So they are the number one target. When I'm looking for someone to write a ticket to, I look for a Tesla, because they don't understand that they're not legally allowed to use their phones while they're driving. So then I just charge the driver, because anything driving in a quasi-autonomous mode right now that is outside of that pilot project that GATIC is currently running in cooperation with Loblaws, well, they're all responsible for what they choose to do. And if that's driving while using their cell phone, they're good for the ticket. Okay. Got that. If a passenger... Oh, here. If passengers aren't wearing seatbelts and they're over 18, OPP gave me a ticket. Is that right? You've not clarified if you are the driver or the passenger, but I'll break it down for you in both ways. If the passenger is under the age of 16, the driver gets the ticket. If the passenger is 16 or over, the individual can get the ticket, and that is the way it goes. So yes, if you're a passenger not wearing a seatbelt, the passenger should get the ticket, especially if they're over 18. Now, could the driver be charged with something? Potentially, if you were driving or conducting yourself in a way that was unsafe and dangerous even. Then you could be charged for dangerous driving. If you were conducting yourself completely dangerous, that's a stretch for just not wearing your seatbelt. I was thinking of something else, but no, because there is a situation where you could be held criminally responsible, but not just for not wearing your seatbelt. Okay, so let me know if I was right in terms of that you were the passenger who got the ticket. Yes. Please clear this up for me. Someone told me that motorcycles are allowed to ride HOV lanes. Road King, yes, you are correct. In Ontario, HOV lanes allow single passenger motorcycles, being the rider only, to use the HOV lane. The HOV lanes that are in Toronto, in the city of Toronto, are not truly HOV. What they are multi-use lanes, bus lanes that also have different things, and they're all dictated by the signage above them. So if it doesn't have a motorcycle, you can't use it. If it has a motorcycle, you can. But 400 series highways all allow you to use them with a motorcycle one passenger only. There's other people who can use it solo, like for instance, the folks who drive buses. All buses are allowed in the HOV. For the people who are driving taxis or limos, they're allowed. Now, the Ubers, you are not a taxi or a limo. I got news for you, and you cannot. But Road King, I love you too, man. He said he loves me, so it's only proper that I love him back. And he rides a motorcycle, and that's my peeps, man. I'm a motor officer, or at least I'm not currently riding, but I am a motor officer. I was with the motor squad for years. I've been riding since I was 16. I miss my bike. I miss being on two wheels. But you know what? It's not in my immediate future. I was hoping, every year I hope that I'm going to get on my bike, and I haven't for a while. So it's 4 years since I've ridden. I miss it. Ms. Mack wants to know what exactly an HOV lane is used for. It's a high occupancy vehicle lane. The goal is to have more people in the vehicle and make it and promote, lower emissions and more efficient travel and all that jazz. Motorcycles are part of that. They are good or better for the environment. Plus, they're cool, man. Okay. Is it illegal to have a flag in your back window? So we're not talking about flapping around. You're talking about blocking your window with a flag. Because I imagine you don't mean the translucent kind of print stuff with a gazillion holes on it that allow you to actually see through it. So do you need a rear window? As long as you have a clear view to the rear by way of, I guess now, video, but really we talk about mirrors. So if you had your side mirrors, and with those two mirrors you could see the back of your vehicle or out the back of your vehicle, then you can legally operate your vehicle without having a rear view, at least by way of the glass. Yes, that's a thing. Let's see what's going on. So many places, so many things. Hey, if you don't know who I am, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service. I go live on social media so I can answer your traffic and police questions. People always ask, why are the police here? We're here because you're here. This is a show for you, which really focuses on your needs. So if you want to know about traffic laws, traffic safety, police stuff in general, want to become a member of the Toronto Police, we're hiring. www.tps.ca. At the bottom, you can probably see that streamer thing that I've been ignoring. I don't even know it's there anymore. Trafficup.ca will get you to all of our, it's a link tree. It's a link to my link tree. It'll get you to all of our social media. It'll even give you to links like a way to check on your buddy's driver's license before you loan them their car to make sure that they have a legitimate driver's license. They may have been suspended, and you give them the car. Well, guess what? You're eligible for a ticket. Want to save money, like all the ticket money and the lack of insurance? Because if you loan somebody a car and they don't have a license, you're not going to get insured, not going to get covered in the event of a collision. Anyway, trafficcop.ca. Akela says, close impound, very considerate of you. Yes, we take your car, we put it inside, and then they charge you money for it. But the rapid release will make life a lot easier for many violators. Okay. Rudmila Siddiqui. Is it Rudmila? I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry. I'm trying. I'm going to say is it Rudmila or Rudmila? Do your friends call you Rude? I'm making a really bad joke. Okay, but that's kind of cool. Okay, you're in the middle of an intersection to take a left turn. The signal turns yellow. The opposite car speeds. We answered this one. We got you. We had you already. We had a whole long talk with the sergeant there. Okay, but now I got to talk to you about your name, and now anyway. Canadian Show says, for a second I thought you had a twin. Well, when Sergeant Campbell was on screen, I totally understand why. Canadian Show further asks, you approach a four-way stop at the exact same time as the three other cars. Who goes first? So the rule is always first to arrive, first to drive. In truth, someone is always going to arrive first. No one arrives exactly at the same time. But they say it's always to the right. Well, somebody is always to the right. So here's the deal. Somebody make a decision. Let someone go. Just let someone go. And if nobody goes, then start to move slowly because you're taking the initiative. We're too Canadian. Everyone just waves everybody. At some point, you're just fanning each other. It's really weird. Now, what is this? We got this one also from the Canadian Show, who's my buddy, and he is. We're in talks. We're going to do a Canadian trivia thing. He does Canadian trivia now on his channel on TikTok, and I imagine on YouTube. But we're going to do a Canadian traffic trivia thing. We're going to do a night. We're going to make some fun stuff, and yeah. I'm riding a bicycle and I blow through a stop sign. I get a ticket for failing to stop. I don't have a driver's license. Do I still get the points too, or is it just a ticket? Fantastic question. I expect good questions from you. Here's the deal. If you don't have a driver's license, we will generate a number for you. The MTO will generate a number for you that is going to be your number forever. If you get a license, it's the same number, and that is unique to you for your life. That ticket will be generated for you in association with that number for the identification purposes, but there are no points attributed to it. You have to be in a motor vehicle to get points. The bicycle, no points. Cool. I like that question. What happens if you pass a vehicle who's impeding traffic on a single lane road? Well, if you did it legally and safely without causing a collision and without speeding, you did the right thing. You can do that. And you mean single lane in each direction, which means passing into oncoming traffic? Yeah. If you do it and then you crash into somebody, well, obviously you are not going to be happy because it's going to be your fault. You got to be careful. But impeding traffic, what's impeding traffic to you? A lot of people have some confusion. Okay, what's this? Closing that one. Can you fight a red light camera or at least get a reduction? So again, not something that the Toronto Police manage, but we do see it all the time. When we go to court, we see people fighting those. What are you going to fight it with? Like, if you got a red light ticket, it's because you ran a red light. You crossed the line before or after it turned red, even if it's by a split second. You should be stopping for the amber. The reduction, I've seen people get a reduction because of personal issues with finance. I've seen people get time to pay where they say, I'm guilty, but I don't have money. I'm broke. I got 6 children and 2 ex-wives, and I need time. And they say, okay, how about a year? We'll let you pay incrementally over a year, and as long as you pay it off before the year, you're good. And if you don't, you're going to get in trouble. So that kind of stuff does happen. But you have to ask for it, and you have to say what you need. Can you be high with a med card when driving? No. You cannot be under the influence of drugs or alcohol while driving, period. Doesn't matter if you have a boo-boo. And I don't mean to minimize your pain. I understand pain. I'm in pain right now. My back is not happy. Not to compare with your pain. But you can't be high and operate a vehicle because then you could get dead or kill other people. What is this? Here's an interesting question. Do you believe that trucks, I should say, are getting too large and lead to safety concerns with pedestrians? There are concerns with larger vehicles. Absolutely. Vehicles are big. And the bigger they are, the more weight they're carrying, the more impact they make. One of the reasons we want to slow people down. The size of the vehicle becomes less of an issue when you're traveling slowly. The biggest issues with these large vehicles are visibility. You look at an 18-wheeler, for instance, and you have a 20-foot space in front of that vehicle that they cannot see you. So if you walk in front of a vehicle while it's stopped, that is an 18-wheeler, and it's within 20 feet, I should say, and you don't move, and the light turns green, chances are they're going to drive over you, because you are invisible to them. There's some logic here, and it can't always be the driver's fault or the trucker's fault. Everyone, pedestrians, cyclists, we all need to be aware of what's going on. We have a podcast that called TPS Traffic Jam. You can get to it by trafficcop.ca. There's an episode about truck safety. Check it out. And no, I don't think we should have all small cars because that's not safe either. I think that the people driving the cars and the people walking around them and cycling around them and rollerblading around them, everyone has a responsibility to play safely with one another. Are cops allowed to open and slam your doors on a highway stop? You'll need to explain that because I don't know what you're talking about. If I need to get you out of the car, I'll open the door, I'll smash the window, I'll drag you out if I have to, because that's all part of what I might have to do depending on the situation. Am I allowed to search your vehicle? It all depends. You're giving me a question with not enough information to actually answer you, but depends. Boom, 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 boom. Chase wants to know if I've ever pulled over a celebrity, not a big name celebrity. I pulled over. We talked about this last week or earlier in the week because yesterday I wasn't here, so I feel like it's Monday, even though it's Thursday. See, I'm all messed up. So minor celebrity, newscasters, radio people I've pulled over. I don't think I've pulled over anybody really spectacular or magical. Yeah, or notable. I don't remember the name. One person I think I know the name, but I'm not going to say it. What is this? Why are police officers turning a blind eye on vehicles driving on pedestrian walkway on Kipling Avenue? I have no idea what you're talking about. Pedestrian walkway? I'm not aware of whatever you're talking about. I don't know why people are doing it or if there's a blind eye being turned. I just don't know. Did Sean pull over Jerry Agar? No, but that would have been a hoot. No, I've never pulled him over. unless we were talking about like for lunch. We had lunch. Okay, we've gone for lunch. High-end, what is this? Oh, interesting. High-end cars come with a factory-installed tinted front windshield, yet the rules say no. Yeah, people are making this claim. Tinted front windshields are not legal in Ontario. So I'm not aware of a car. There is different glass that has some coatings on it that may add a sheen or a mild tint from one version or another, but it has to be AS1 glass. I don't believe that there's any permissible coating permitted on there. Now, maybe it's part of the manufacturer, but I agree with you. You can't. And if they are being brought in and against the rules, they should be taken out of inventory and not sold in this province. Let's see here. Modern Diver, long time no see, my friend. Hope you're doing well. In Ontario, is an aerial drone following a car down the road operate a passenger wrong? And the answer is you need to look at the rules. And the rules say you can't drive without a commercial license and an approved flight plan. I don't believe you can fly in relation to traffic or people. There's a specific distance outlined, and it depends. I don't know the details enough. Not something that I've ever been involved with. But as a drone owner and operator, the rules suggest you can't do that. But I'm not a commercial drone pilot. In fact, I am not a licensed pilot at all. I have a drone that is under 250 grams, which means I'm not required to have a license or license my drone. But if I put on a big battery, it would then tip over and I would have to apply for one. And it's an easy test to get it. But the biggest thing they say is don't do stupid things and don't drive near traffic or people. Or fly. I shouldn't say drive. Let's see here. Wait, aftermarket windshield. What is this? Chase says, wait, aftermarket windshield tint is illegal as per inspection guide. So if they are sold like that, they might be a strangely... No, you are not allowed to have a tinted front windshield. Aftermarket, for sure not. But the factory glass, my understanding is AS1. The AS1 line, AS1 is the clarity of the glass. So if you have anything other than AS1, and you know what, I say this, and then I want to pull up the guide. Let's pull up the guide. Why not? This is called the light truck. You can do this too. Light truck and passenger inspection. I should probably type all the letters of inspection. Guide. Here we go. Opening. All right. Let's do this. We're just live. I'll come see you. Okay. We're going to share this document because why not? Share screen, share window, let's go. And this is where people on TikTok are going to be like, totally, we now understand why this is so cool what you guys are doing with this this business. And I'm going to look for, what am I going to look for? I'm going to look for, where's the looky button? I want to find a search window. Is it here? Okay. Windshield. Is it going to find it? Okay. Windshield front wiper. That's not what we want. Heater front windshield defroster. That's not what we want. Windshield, we like that. Okay. Maybe I should put tint. Maybe tint is the right search word. Body, forward, camera. No. Decal or device except camera safety device obscures vision. Oh, it says here, except a camera safety device. I guess that means dash cams are exempt for... see image below for examples of pass and fail for windshield. Look at that. I've never even noticed that sticker before. See, you find cool stuff when you look for it. Reject if decal or device except camera for safety windshield wipers. Area swept of the windshield wipe. We talk about that all the time. Okay. Chips larger than a certain size. Okay, this is tint. Here we talk about the... I hope everyone's excited about this like I'm excited about this now. Everyone's going, why are we talking about this? It's so boring. How do I make this full screen better? Whatever. Okay. 70. Okay, so AS line. Tinting extends more than 75 meters from the top windshield or beyond the AS line. But let's talk about window clarity. That's really what I'm trying to find. And if I don't find it... Oh, here. Okay. Normal vision restricted on the side windows immediately to the left and right of the driver. Any side window situated directly to the left and right of the driver. Cloud. Oh, if it's crazed, clouded, or fogged, so to materially impair vision. Exposed sharp edges or broken, missing apart, blah, blah, blah. Banding missing. Sharp edge, okay. Glass windows not marked as AS1, AS2, AS3, AS10, or AS11. Now I got to look those up because those, I thought it was only AS1. Oh, so, okay. AS3 is permitted only on windows to the rear of the driver's back seat. Tinting. So this is, hope everyone's enjoying this. I'm learning and researching here as we go and deep diving. And yes, a Canadian show, 249 near people and vehicles. I'm aware you can't go near people, but I mean, you don't need a license. Any manufactured on transmissions, but left to the right of the driver. Reject if vision is obscured. Well, maybe you're allowed to have other stuff. We're going to come back to this, or at least I'm going to come back to this, and we're going to talk about tint more because maybe that's where folks are. Maybe there is a loophole. Interesting. Could we just change? Did the world just stop spinning? It's now going in the wrong direction. Okay, we're moving on. We're going to come back to this. This is going to be an interesting discussion. We'll recap tomorrow for Friday. We'll talk all about tint and windshields and everything I can dig in and dig about. We'll talk about it. In any other problems because my car is registered in Nova Scotia. If you live in Ontario and you've been here for 30 days and you've not changed your vehicle from Nova Scotia here, you're violating the law. You have 30 days to, once you've become a resident of Ontario, to change it. Now, if you have an Ontario driver's license, which you had to have changed within 60 days, from Nova Scotia to, then yeah, there's potential issues here. It's also called not credit card fraud. It's called insurance fraud. That's why people do it. How long do I have to declare my father's passing for his car and license? Well, his license is no longer valid because he's passed away. His car reverts to the estate, whoever is managing the estate. Could that estate maintain the car? As long as it's insured and it can still be driven, that's a different story, but I would get rid of all of their ID. Richard, good morning. Return it. Okay, can remove that question from the queue. What is the question here? My inspection is up and my plates are driving to Nova Scotia from, what is it? My plates are up driving to Nova Scotia from Alberta. Can I get a ticket? If you're just in transit, well, your inspection is up. Is this a commercial motor vehicle? You might have some problems. I can't speak to what's going to happen outside of Ontario, but if you have plates that are not valid for use on the road, yeah, you can get a ticket. That's a whole planning thing. Now, I don't know what the right answer is for you, my friend. I just don't. But if your plates are not valid, you cannot operate. Do you have to test for your license again if you're moving provinces? If you have a G2 or the equivalent of a G2, a probationary license that allows you to drive by yourself, and or a fully licensed, a fully graduated license where you're a regular driver, then you don't have to do a test. You can exchange them, and there's all sorts of information as to how that works. Can the driver that caused a major collision be further charged post-collision? Friends hit last week. Yes, if there's a collision investigation underway, they could be charged, depending on the information that comes out from that collision investigation. Things like insurance can be laid up to 3 years, but they have 6 months to lay an HDA charge. So there you go. Classic car with loud exhaust in Ontario. Is that a question? Because I don't know if that's a question. If you have a classic car that is noisy and it predates the requirements for emissions control and exhausts, then as long as it's not ridiculously loud, you're probably going to be okay. Because at least for the, I guess it becomes the unnecessary. And how do you weigh that? Like if you have an old car, we'll call it a Studebaker? No, we'll call it a Model T. And I'm assuming that, I don't know if that's a loud car, but I'm assuming it doesn't have a muffler, or at least one that muffles. So if that's loud, but that's what's necessary to make that vehicle operate, there is no way of operating it less. Then maybe that's not unnecessary noise. And maybe it gets a gold seal approval. I don't know. We don't really hunt things out. What is this? Quickly catching up on things from Richard. Oh, this is interesting. Yesterday, a diesel truck intentionally smoked out traffic in a Thunder Bay Expressway, almost causing a pileup due to loss of visibility. Hard to say what intentional is, but if they didn't have an emissions control system that prevented the smoke from coming out, is that what they call rolling coal? I'm not sure. In any case, that's not okay. I don't know specifically what I'd charge somebody with. Mufflers are designed to reduce smoke, so unnecessary smoke might be a thing. Now I want to look it up because it's, whenever I get these questions that make me want to look things up, I say, why do you make me look things up? But it's good. It's good. Somewhere here I have a Highway Traffic Act, and I bet you right now Chase is trying to erase me to it. Smoke. Unreasonable smoke. $110 no demerit points. A person having the control or charge of a motor vehicle shall not sound any bell, horn, or signaling device. So glad that's under the definition for unreasonable smoke. So as to make unreasonable noise. Oh, because it's the same thing as unreasonable noise. It's just a different section of it, a different title. And a driver of any motor vehicle shall not permit any unreasonable amount of smoke to escape from the motor vehicle, nor shall the driver at any time cause the motor vehicle to make an unnecessary noise. But this subsection does not apply to a motor vehicle of a municipal fire department while proceeding to a fire or answering a fire alarm call. Well, I'm glad we've cleared that up. See, I said it. This Chase, he's on it, man. But I don't know. I don't know who won the race. You didn't actually come through with a definition before me. Let's see here. Can you get a ticket for speeding if he pulls in the driveway behind you with lights off? I don't know exactly what we're talking about here. If you were speeding and you stopped speeding, but I measured you or recorded you or intended to stop you for speeding, regardless of where you are now, yeah, I can still lay the charge. Even if I pull into your driveway with my lights off, I can walk up to you. I can wave to you and say, stop. I don't have to put my lights on ever. Let's see this. Years ago, my wife was in labor, and I drove a red light. You ran through a red light at 3 a.m. True story. Would you ticket? Yeah, probably. I would. Yeah, everything depends, right? 3 a.m., nobody around. I pulled you over. I see what's going on. You wouldn't be able to drive away because I'd call an ambulance for you because it would be my liability, or I'd be responsible for anything that happened afterwards. Maybe I cut your brake. I'm a dad. I understand the stress of what's going on. Even if I'm the dad of the or the soon-to-be dad, especially first time. But you know what? It's about planning. You should have planned, and not to give you a hard time, but we got there early for both kids. Why? Because we planned. We had a plan. Last minute things shouldn't have happened. Listen, emergencies happen. You know what you do? You call 911, get an ambulance. I hope everything went well, and regardless of how things went, you shouldn't have run through red lights. There's no emergency, no permission. Do you have to pay a written warning? No, because it's a warning. It is a warning. It is not a ticket. And it says you do not have to pay on the face of that warning. Unless it was like lipstick on a napkin warning. I don't know what to tell you about those. But if an actual properly processed warning is a warning, and then we just print it out. It stays in our system so you don't get it. Like you don't get another one. You get a ticket the next time. What's going on here? Why do police cruisers' vehicles barely use blinkers indicators while turning? You may have seen something, but I can tell you I signal wherever I go and whatever vehicle I'm in. It's not a police cruiser vehicle situation. It's the individual officer whose finger may be sore, and I don't know. There's no excuse for it. There's no reason not to. Let's see. We talked about this already. Can you get a ticket at a later date if you were speeding in front of an officer and they didn't pull you over? Yes, we could. We have up to 6 months to lay a charge for HTA offenses, for most provincial offenses. And then if you talk about the insurance-specific charges, 3 years, up to 3 years later. So, yeah. Let's see. And when would that happen? Let's say I stop you and you give me an insurance card, and I investigate when I have time and find out that on the date of the investigation, it was not valid. I can come back and charge you. If you were involved in a collision and you went to the collision reporting center and you gave a false piece of information and it was actually invalid, well, guess what? We can lay that charge. What is this question? As a garbage truck driver, and I'm assuming this is can and we missed the C in the cut and paste. Can a garbage truck driver be at fault for hitting your car under the Highway Traffic Act when parked? Well, they hit it while they were moving. So yes, if they're driving past a parked vehicle, they can be charged for hitting that vehicle. Absolutely. On public property, on the streets, not private property. Private property, there's no charge to be laid. What is this? A cop filled out my ticket for me on the hood of my car and caused scratches. Can I sue? I find that very hard to believe, Ahmed. The reason I say that is because our tickets, when they were handwritten, were books, so the pen wouldn't be causing a scratch. Mind you, I would never touch your vehicle for something like that. I don't understand why I wouldn't just stand up and do it. All of our tickets are now issued by electronic means. But certainly, if you were able to prove or allege and someone believes you that they damaged your vehicle, you could certainly make application or file a suit or file a complaint and make the city or the police responsible. I don't know if you'd win, but you could certainly make the complaint. What is this? What's the fine for passing too close to a tow truck? It depends if that tow truck is pulled over with its lights active, because then it's the slow down and move over. And I want to say it's a big ticket. It's like $500. Slow down. Is there fail to slow down? Maybe. Where is it? Slow down, move over. Fail to. Maybe I'll search under emergency vehicle, because they are at that point emergency vehicles. For the purpose of that, fail to move into another lane for emergency vehicle or tow truck, $490, 3 demerit points. And just because we can, upon approaching an emergency vehicle with its lamp producing intermittent flashes of red light or red and blue light, or a tow truck with its lamp producing intermittent flashes of amber light that is stopped on a highway, which is any road in Ontario, by the way, with 2 or more lanes of traffic on the same side of the highway as the side of the vehicle, on the side of which the emergency vehicle or tow truck is stopped, the driver of a vehicle traveling in the same lane that the emergency vehicle or tow truck is stopped in. Have you ever noticed it's a little bit wordy, the HTA? That is adjacent to the emergency vehicle or tow truck, blah, 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 blah. I can't read this anymore. It's hurting my brain. Yeah, that's the deal. That's the deal. If a speeding ticket issued by an officer without mentioning speed, will it be canceled? Generally speaking, it has to mention the speed. It should be on its face. You can apply to have it dropped, and they could apply to a counter with saying, I'd like to tell you the speed because I have it written in my notes and it's on the back, and it may or may not be reasonable, and that will be up to the justice of the peace with whom you are having the conversation. Okay. So remember I said, Chase is on the case? Well, Chase is on the case. He was looking for the same thing, and he claims he got it first. I believe him. 159 sub 2. Awesome. You make this fun, Chase. Thanks for hanging out. What is this? We talked about that. I can delete this one. Oops. Oh, this is a good question. I'm so glad we asked it. I got to go because it's 11 o'clock and I got a meeting. But can I exchange my international driving permit to a full G? What is an international driving permit? People don't know. I just realized how low my desk is, or how high my desk is. Come on. There we go. I should have done. I was like a child sitting at the big table. So here I go. I feel normal now. Oh, that hurt my back. Can I exchange my international driving permit? Well, an international driving permit isn't a driver's license, so no, you can't exchange it for anything. It's nothing. That is a translation card. That license or permit just coincides with the information on your actual driver's license. If you show up with an international driving permit and hand that to me when I stop you, I'm giving you a ticket for driving no license. That is not a driver's license. Again, let's say you're coming from Dubai, and I don't know, maybe the Dubai licenses are in English. But if you hand me a Dubai license and I have no idea what it says, because it doesn't say name, date of birth in English, well, then that international driving permit translates it so I can understand it. It also allows you to drive beyond that of the 3-month maximum when you're visiting here. So, you can't exchange that. You can exchange an actual driver's license from certain countries. Not all. There's a certain number that have that are acceptable for exchange. And if you are from somewhere that doesn't have if you're not on the list, well then you'd have to get some level. They may take your driving experience. They may require you to take a G2 and a G. They might take you to do everything. They may make you wait the whole time. They might accelerate you. Like, it all depends. And unfortunately, I don't have an answer for all of them. The questions that have been asked that we haven't got to, and there's a whole bunch of them, I will answer them tomorrow because they're actually in here is captions. So tune in tomorrow at 10 o'clock. We will do Friday. We will answer the questions that were missed. So I've got a whole bunch, like, can you pass an ambulance with lights and sirens on the highway if they're going 5 under? Can you drive at speed? Like, there's a whole bunch of good stuff. So I can't go through all of them to read them, but I will totally go through them. We will not abandon them. If you're there, we will get you. Bombastic wants to know what's the number to report parking infractions to PKE Toronto. Even better than parking by calling to complain. Go to www.tps.ca. There's a way to report online for parking infractions, for driving complaints, for individual vehicles, as well as for community complaints. So whatever your question, there is an answer available. 2 things before I go, because it's just Adam, DO82, says, so why is it that the police officers are allowed to use their cell phones when driving, but regular person cannot? If you say it's special training, then why are regular people not allowed to take it? Adam, I'm so glad you asked this question. And I know I said we're leaving, but this is just a question worthy of answering. Here's the deal. Police are exempt, and you are exempt when calling the police. We are emergency workers. We're working towards helping people. We're getting to emergency calls for service or investigating things, and the information that we are trying to exchange and get or exchange, well, it's important. And the whole deal is that we are not trying to drive around to order pizza. We're doing something very specific for police purposes. And if we cause a collision doing it, we're obviously responsible. But it's also different for one police person to do it. 1 in 100 cars. Let's say every 100 cars has a police officer, for instance, and we're the only ones doing it. There is a risk, and texting as well. Oh, I'll give you some more information about that. Because he says he's seen people texting and driving, and it doesn't seem to be an emergency. This is my police issue telephone. Okay, it's an iPhone. It doesn't look like anything special, but with it, I can search and do everything that my police computer can do. I'm totally in connection with everything. It's called the Connected Officer Program, and I can run plates on it. So I might be driving and needing to run the license plate of the car in front of me, and it may not appear to be a police business with you because, well, why would you think that an iPhone's a police computer? But it is. And not all police cars have police computers in them, and not all officers, but all officers are issued those police telephones. So it all depends. If it's being abused, it shouldn't be. That's not a righteous or permissible use. We aren't calling our cousins or asking for our spouses to make us a special dinner or reserving Valentine's Day things, because that would be wrong. It would be wrong. I'm just making fun of it. But there's a legitimate use and purpose, and that is what it's supposed to be used for. It's no different than using a police radio or a police computer. It's all the same stuff. But I really love that question. It's something we don't talk about enough because people have lots of questions. They want to know why we can speed. People want to know why we can carry guns. It's because we have a reason to. And that minimal use, that when I was saying that 1 in 100 being used, is a lot different than everybody on their phone. What we actually see when we go driving around is that everybody's on their phone, and that's really dangerous. It's still dangerous for a police officer to do it, but it's called acceptable risk. All right. I'm off my I'm off my high horse of answering questions. Vehicle Valley supports that risk-reward scenario. Absolutely. Listen, it's been a blast. I've had a lot of fun. I got to go meet somebody now. We are back tomorrow at 10 a.m. right till 11 o'clock, and then we will say goodbye for the weekend, which is sad because, maybe we'll do a live stream at night. I need to do some live stream. What time? Think about this. Message me. Put it in comments in our videos. What time should we go live at night when we do it? We're going to do some special videos. I seem to believe, based on looking at some statistics, that 9 p.m. seems to be the best time. The most number of our followers are live at that time. Maybe we'll do it then. So let me know what you think. I'd like to know. All right. With that, I say goodbye. Ciao for now. Here's the song.
Safely helps the traffic flow. Watch for pedestrians, look out for bikes, and don't drive like a jerk that no one likes. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely is the way to go. Put down your cell phone, nobody needs you to text and drive on the DVP. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Stop at stop signs, look both ways, then go. Seatbelt, save your life indeed, and watch your driving.
Don't speed.
Yellow light, red light, green light.
I like the song.
Driving safely is the way to go. Don't drink and drive or smoke some weed, because you might
Go to jail and not get free.
Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely helps the traffic flow.
I really do love that song. Okay, listen, I'm out of here. See you tomorrow, Friday, 10 a.m. Tell your friends, subscribe, follow, everywhere. And check out trafficcop.ca. Really great info there. Ciao for now.
10, 9, 8, 7.
And Mohammed, yes, I did get a ticket when I was a teen.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.